Hello and welcome to another video. In this one I will be talking about an interesting indie game called Ode. I am always glad to see indie games on the market. They allow as of yet unknown studios to make a breakthrough in the game market, and since they aren't under as much scrutiny as bigger gaming developers, they can get away with experimenting more. This game was brought to us by Reflections, wait, what? Ubisoft studio? Well, it says that they are the guys responsible for Watch Dogs 2. This is hardly indie. But okay, I don't begrudge them for wanting to make something actually original and refreshing after making games like The Division, so I will let it slide this time. But since I'm sure that you aren't here to listen to me ranting on about what indie actually is, here go my thoughts about Ode. The first thing that I noticed after starting the game is that it does no hand-holding at all. It just gives a quick briefing about how to control the character, and that's it. The character is stuck in a ball and has to run around collecting some kind of orbs and taking them to specific places to bring the colors and music back to the world or something like that. And just a quick thing, I know it's a weird thing to notice, but the design decision to give the character such obvious bum cheeks is just quite funny to me, and sometimes that can't be unseen. Now, if you manage not to stare at this game's protagonist's booty, you will be rewarded by some quite nice level design. At first, you don't get to see much, just a straightforward cave, but before long, you will get into a room full of alien organisms that somehow make music when you touch them. It's like the opposite of the Aliens movies. The charm of this game is how laid back it is. There are no things like mandatory timers or collectibles that you have to collect to go further. Just relax and enjoy running around the level, all the while listening to this game's smooth soundtrack. I do have to say a few things about this game's soundtrack. It is quite nicely made and finely combined with the gameplay. At first it goes slowly, but the more things you interact with and the more of the big blobby things you activate, the faster and louder the music becomes. But it never becomes too loud or too fast to cause any feelings of urgency or anxiety. It is always on the smooth side. I will put one of the soundtracks in the background of this video just so you get a feel for it. As you can see, if you're actually watching the video, this game is a platformer. That means that for most of the game you'll be running and jumping. I do have to confess that even though I like this game, the jumps can sometimes feel a bit floaty, and it's hard to judge the distance of the jumps and how fast your character is going. It was a bit annoying at the start, but I forgot about it the more used I got to the controls. And it is countered by a few, let's say, upgrades that your character can acquire by jumping into different colored pools. Some of them can make you jump higher, run faster, or turn the orbs that are around you into limbs that help you scale objects like a long-legged being of sorts. And no matter how gimmicky they seem, they actually help the game to feel fresh and set it apart from other games out there. So, to wrap this all up, Ode is a fun and colorful indie game that seems to have something that major AAA games are missing these days, and that is heart. Yes, it may be a bit repetitive and confusing at times, but all the while I was playing it, I felt relaxed, and sometimes it even presented me a quick challenge that was just enough to keep me from getting bored. And it was actually made by a Ubisoft studio. So, if you want a game that has both art and heart, Ode is the game for you. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.